Good evening, everyone, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. I will be streaming the Ascent Tournament for the Asia server today, and I will be following none other than the Disney princesses, or the artist formerly known as Disney princesses. I don't know, but E7. So I'm going to take you away from here, and there is a room invite. So let's quickly look at that. And in the meantime, this is the current leaderboard that we have for the Asia server. The top 8 that, with the standing as they are, will go through to the to the professionals, really. So let's take that away. And let's ready up so that that can't go wrong. And most of the princesses... Oh my god, the game is like lagging. There we go. Most of the Disney princesses by now have renamed themselves to other stuff, but we still have Merida, so that is at least one princess that is still intact. And overall, one of the main reasons I love E7 is because they don't take things too seriously. At the same time, that can also kind of work in against them. So I'm very curious how today will go. We are starting off versus Cats, and both of them are... fighting for a place in the top 8. They don't have it currently. And I'm just gonna have a quick look at the ranking. We have E7 currently in 10th place, and Cats is on the 15th place, so they would really need to step it up. Cats actually does not really have a chance anymore unless they win everything. But with E7 at 7th place with 7,186 cups, and the lowest of the top 8 having 9,209, it is still possible. It is unlikely, but it is still possible. The thing is, they kind of need King to do bad, and they need themselves to do really good. So we'll see how that will go. Either way, we're just gonna have fun with it and just gonna see what is going to happen. So Phony put himself in the middle. There we go, Cats is steadily coming in. There's a 5-minute delay on the stream, so anything you say in the chat that I respond to, basically you hear my response 5 minutes after I've actually made it. So that also means that teams do not have to worry at all about having showing what tanks they're gonna pick and everything, because by the time that the enemy would be able to see it on stream, the battle will have already begun and it's probably already over. And as you can see, I actually have an E7 tag on Asia server. My account is in the clan, even if I don't play on Asia server. But we still have about 2.5 minutes left to go before we go into the match. We're going to Castilla, which is one of my least favorite maps of all the maps that there are. But it is what it is, and I do understand why Wargaming puts it in, because in a way it's an interesting map, but it's also the map that leads to the most stalemate games, and that's what I have against it. Meanwhile, Cats is now ready with a 268, a Sherry, an IS-4, 3 E5s and a 113. And E7 has not quite decided yet, and Phony still needs to move himself back in. But there we go, we see Cloudburst. It's pronounced differently, but I've already told him I'm gonna stick with Cloudburst. So Cloudburst is taking a Yege, and I'm kind of curious. There we go, now it's an M60. They're still changing things. This just makes it kind of impossible to sort of read their team composition, even though it's not all that predictive, because basically teams can go every which way, and as long as they're a team, that's the thing. So regardless of what kind of tanks you pick, you can always go pretty much anywhere when it's a team game. So, with E7 still derping, they have a little over a minute to decide their final lineup and to all move back into the queue. But it does look like the tanks are sort of sticking where we're seeing a pretty mobile lineup so far. With the T22, the M60, Chieftain relatively mobile as well, 121B and the 30B of course. And then we'll probably get either an E100 or 2 IS-4s, but we'll see. There we go, 2 IS-4s it is. And now they're... You're useless! There we go. Different lineup altogether now. And this one does make a bit more sense for this map. So we see a grill is Sherry a T62A with the amazing gun depression that it now has, 3 IS4s and a 268. So that's 2 TDs, that's a bit of a risk, but it can work out really well, especially on a camper map like this, where there's so many camper lines on both sides, and basically you can get a lot done with them as long as they have targets. And that's always the thing, because at the other hand, your enemy will also know where they can get shot from. So let's see. This is like, E7 is one of those clans that they have really good days or really bad ones. And I'm just really hoping for a really good day, because we have to keep in mind that if E7 gets knocked out, so do I. So that would mean that I have absolutely no games to follow afterwards. So let's see. Here we go. And let's go up, up and away. And we see, aside from the T62A, who is not going to the Citadel along with the Sherry. I mean, at least I'm suspecting that he goes there. No, he's going to the middle. But the rest of E7 seems to be heading to the A side. Whereas we see Cat's Pit doing the same thing. Sherry going over the top already on the Citadel. Ready to spot anyone that is crossing over. But E7 is not really interested in base A by the looks of it. And we have I am Gerald. Gerald looking over base B. Nap has been spotted. But let's see, we are waiting. We are hearing a big gunshot here. That was the 268, I think. No, it actually doesn't show the reload thingy. That is a bit broken for some tanks every now and again. So there we go. More shots being fired. But no one has actually been damaged yet. And cats are dominating the Citadel. Whereas E7 is waiting very patiently. That was the grill that was firing. There we go. Because even though we're on this side, we hear the sound of the grill. Because that makes sense. But overall, not much is happening. This is exactly what I have against Castilla as a tournament map. Yes, it does make for some interesting stuff. And there's some blind shots going on and everything. But it's also a very boring map to watch. Oh, that was a big hit into cost effective. That was not very cost effective. And 57 pixels is moving in. I'm going to take that ramp. But being careful. Cost effective, immediately relocating. And now coming back to where he was. Noob Magnet shoots. He doesn't pan, but he stays unspotted. But they know that there's someone there now, as you can see by the blind shot that was just taken. There we go. Let's see. No bases have been kept. Nothing has happened. At this point, I believe it would be E7 that would get the victory, mainly because of the fact that they have more HP. 57 pixels, again, moving away. Getting back to safety without losing a single point of HP. There we go, one of the E5s has been shot. And now they are attempting to cap base A. If they get away with that, cats will have a definite advantage. And they can't see anyone there because 57 pixels has been gone. Base B is now also being capped. And the IS-4 is getting absolutely wrecked getting in there. Not looking too healthy. They are decapping it, but cats do have base A now. And even though they are losing some health there as well, Nat has to be careful where he is right now. Because he is over-angled. Base C now being taken, but they're already tanked behind and they've barely any health advantage here anymore. A little bit of HE damage to Harry there. Both teams have a base, but it will be about the fight for base B at this point. But with the 268 there and the two E5s there, that could be interesting. But now base A is pretty much undefended, but this is something that e7 does not know. We have Merida and 57 pixels heading around the back. And Cat's not knowing that yet. This could be interesting. If they can get the shots in from there. 57 pixels did just fire. We hear a lot of gunfire, but not all that much damage has been done. And HP wise it is still very close. Oh, 268 taking a massive hit there. Not looking all too healthy now. And we have the Sherry and T68 moving back. They're facing the E5 now. With the Sherry almost reloaded, that could be very interesting. And he's not going to survive for all that much longer. There he goes. He's the first gun out. And immediately E7 has the advantage back. So as long as they survive and not backwards stays hidden, because he's not looking too healthy at this stage. E7 could potentially have this. There's only 2 minutes left. But it will be all about the defense here. They need to be careful. Kappa moving back. The Mets over there staying in the corner. Merida having been spotted, 57 pixels has not. Big hit there, all the way from across there. So that's a very good hit. And they kind of need to make sure that they are not destroyed. Staying in the water like that is a bit tricky. You kind of need air. And Gerald losing more HP as the 268 reloads. That is excellent crossfire, guys. This is something I really admire. They are shooting back. But just look at from where he's shooting and where he's getting the shot in. He is now pulling back, and we have the Sheridan crossing the water there, but he has been spotted, so he needs to be careful. There's just 1 minute left. And E7 at this point just has to hold and keep their tanks alive. Nat is in the ditch there. Steadily pulling away from the fire. He has 753 HP left. So potentially he could take a shot from the Sheridan and still survive. That was a missile that went pretty much nowhere. But it was funny to hear. Player noob win, not doing too good either. We have half a minute left. Cats will have to make a very effective push if they want to get the advantage back. Cloudburst out in the open, that is a bit dangerous there. But if I am Gerald does not survive this, and same with players Nup, with 50 seconds left on the clock, this means that E7 is going to take this home, and that is all because they managed to take out one OK rock. And there we go, 3 seconds to 1. Well, to be fair, it kind of was. It was a weird game, but it was kind of interesting. And then, while having the most points, it is E7 that takes this victory. But only one tank died, and that tank that died was vital for both teams. But in this case, it worked out for E7. If that hadn't happened, Cats would have had this. I just don't understand why Cats didn't push. So let's see, 1.5 minutes left before we go into the second game on Castilla. And kind of this game showcased everything as to why it's still chosen as a tournament map, but also why I dislike the map, because it was so stalemate gaming. And if the rock hadn't been killed, Cats would have won this. So just over a minute left, we see E7 has now readied up with a T62A, a Sheridan, a Foch, 2 IS4s, an E100 and another Foch. So that's a lot of firepower, and again, that is something that can work out for you, it can also work out against you, so we'll have to see how that goes. And on the other side we see Cats ready with a 268, a Sherry, 3 IS4s even, a 113 and only 1 E5 this time. And I'm going to be very interesting, basically I'm always interested to see what is going on, and it's kind of something that I generally repeat a lot on the streams, mainly because it's sort of like a filler sentence, but at the same time I really am, because I want to know what is going to go on with this lineup, and if Cats is going to be able to pull this one back. And like I said, EV7 gets knocked out, so do I, so I'm rooting for E7 in all possible ways here. Also slightly biased because they're literally my clan on this server, but still. Let's see what they're gonna do on this second match. I do love those crossfire shots that we saw all the way from the left corner to pretty much the lower right corner. That was pretty cool. And not something I had expected he would get away with so much. So here we go into the game. If I get to load in, because that would generally really help. Here we go. That would be great though. But they blow me up. See, this is exactly... I adore them. They're not taking things all too seriously. They're just having fun with it. And... basically, that was also the main thing with the princesses' names and everything. Just not taking things all too seriously. So we see now that Cats is really focusing on the base B side. And I'm curious to see if they're going to get away with it. Because base B is a very difficult... basically base to take, but he's getting away with it. And that could be very... oof, that did not pan either. But that means that they have an advantage already, and E7 does not know that they're primarily on the base C side. And this could mean that pixels over there could be potentially deleted when he gets spotted. But they kind of need to get those bases. They need to get A and they need to get B back. Because already now, Cats has a tank on advantage with just the points. And we have cost effective now moving there. No, he's going back maybe. And they kind of need to defend base B, but there are spots where you can cap base B very safely with the way that Cats is now positioned. And Gerald moving in. And the E100 is overlooking base B. 57 pixels has been spotted. He does take a hit, but he's relatively safe. He didn't lose his whole life. And basically, Cats is dominating this one so far. But we see that E7 is now pushing into the town. And Cats is getting ready to play it defensively. But this will be very interesting to see because Nat is pretty much close to base B. The forces are right behind him. And he's using the buildings. He might get hit by the IS-4, by Kappa. But as it is, he's not. And he is capping the base and they need to push in to get him. But we have Harry over there. So it will not be easy for them. He does take a tiny bit of HP damage. But as long as he's in there, Cats is not getting points from the base. Force taking a big hit there. Both into someone and out of someone. Not sure why Harry is not moving. Cost effective is losing a lot of HP. Noob Magnet needs to be more careful. Base B is still being taken. And you see, now the points are tight. So even if Nat does not cap the base, he is... Noob Magnet, not looking too healthy there. He is still capping and they now have a point advantage even if he does not cap. So enjoy the game, not looking too healthy. Harry now moving in. Taking him out, giving E7 a definite advantage here. And on the other side here we see Cloudburst and Projecting losing HP, facing off versus 3 tanks, but they're occupying them because they're in positions that make it very hard for Cats to actually get them. Noob Magnet so far the most unhealthy one, but Merida is there to back him up. Nat in basically stuck in his position. But they have the base. They have 2 bases now. And with cost effective pushing in, they are trying to take out Projecting. And they will do just that. But at the same time, he is not looking too healthy either, cost effective and Todcat. And now Cloudburst is in trouble. We have Nat basically being attacked in the middle. There goes Cloudburst, but with 2 bases, E7 only has to survive. And we have 57 pixels taking a massive hit here. But if he manages to hit this, and he does, E7 is a gun down. But we have 3 guns here with 1 Foch. And the Foch needs to be very careful because now cost effective is coming in. He's going to take him out. He is. But the 113 is also out. As long as E7 survives this, they should have this. They're not looking too healthy. And we have 57 pixels heading around. Oof. I'm not sure why 57 pixels is there. He does not need to do this. And he needs to ram him, basically, to make sure he survives this. We have cost effective. Moving around. Trying to survive. But he does take him out. And this, with just Harry Balls, if E7 had played this more defensively, they would have had this. There's absolutely no reason why they had to lose this. Oh my god. That is just, it is silly. This did not need to happen. Had 57 pixels just ran the other way and basically just stayed safe, E7 would have had this game. And now they don't. Now we're going to go to a tiebreaker. So this is basically something that it shouldn't have happened. It really shouldn't have. And they ruined it themselves. They've nothing to blame but themselves. Totcat basically ram him to death before Harry finally goes down to Kappa's gun. And that was just... Guys, honestly. You had this. I think it started with Duke Magnet being way too forwards, taking shots that he didn't need to. And then just overall, it lacked map awareness. It lacked reading the points and the bases. Because, yeah, like I said, there was no reason E7 had to lose this. On the plus side, we are going to go to Faust now, which is my favorite map, so I'm not really against that at all. And in just over a minute, we'll get to see what happens there. But it's a very different map, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to do there, because now the pressure is on. And it didn't need to have to be this way. So we have Cat Stars ready up in 2 mice, a Sherry, 2 IS4s, a 113 and a Foch versus 2 T62As, 2 E100s, an IS4, a mouse and a 268. So that is a very, very, well, basically super heavy lineup. And that is going to be interesting. And yes, that is kind of like the word that I'm repeating a lot. I'm actually annoyed at myself for it. But it is what it is. And with a map like this, with so many tunnels and bridges and everything, taking so many heavies or super heavies could be a challenge, because they're not going to be able to get around much, and you have 4 bases to dominate in this map. You only need to like dominate 2 of them, but still. Here we go, 15 seconds before we go into the game. Countdown has begun and we are ready to go in. Let's see. Dun 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 dun. And come on, guys. And just Faust is one of the most unpredictable maps, and that is exactly why I'm both glad we have it and worried we have it, if that's the right way to phrase it. I am loading in so late here. Asia server does not like me much. Here we go. I think we might have missed some communication there, but things did not really go as intended last match, let's put it that way. And we see that E7 is focusing primarily on the D and A side, with Cats really going for the A side. The Foch heading there as well, or at least getting into a position to shoot them. And we see the first shot already have been taken, first damage already being done. Base D only now having being kept. And they kind of need to get the point advantage, they need the bases. We have Harry moving into base B, getting it early, and that might make all the difference. Because base A is pretty much abandoned by E7, but Cats doesn't know that yet. And with them having base B, that could be very tricky. But now the mice are moving in, and we're gonna have mice versus E100s, and that can go very well or very badly, because the mice are really well protected. 113 getting hit as he moves in, and the super heavies are, oof, holding the middle. Base A now being kept, but E7 has an advantage. The mice moving in, and they are going after the 113. We have the Foch now going. Harry, ooh, bouncing that. Base B being stolen. They kind of need to avoid that happening, but they're also driving into the line of fire. They're not even doing any damage for it, and Cats is about to have 3 bases. Foch losing HP. But right now, Cats has a definite advantage, and they need to be very careful. Cloudburst not looking too healthy here. And basically, we are sort of in a fuckfest. It's not exactly that, but they kind of just need to move. They are taking out Tot Cat. 57 pixels being very, very... But it's Cloudburst that goes first, and that could prove to be a problem. They're now bullying the 268. We have Cost Effective passing by as he reloads. But he's still alive. There goes Nat. There goes... Yeah, Cost Effective is gone. Player Noob Win is gone. There goes Noob Magnet. It is 4 versus 4. The Force not looking too healthy, but he has almost reloaded. And he's going to land a big one, but there he goes. Cost Effective losing that many HP points just dropping is not really an ideal thing to... Oof, E50 getting taken out. And even with both of them now having 2 bases, Merida is not going to be able to survive this for much longer. But it is 4 versus 2, and it is very unlikely. There we go, Gerald going after Merida. But Lion has lost a life because of it. This was one of the most chaotic matches I've ever seen, to be fair. But oh my god. Gerald not looking... not looking too good. I think this was more like unlucky for Cats. Not necessarily played epically by E7, it was just chaos. But the focus fire was a bit more on E7 side, and losing a bunch of HP to dropping is not going to work out. But I am very glad that E7 is still in the game, because that means that I get to stream a little bit longer. So, let's see. Who are we up against next? And if they win the next matchup, that is all good, because then they are in the final stages, and that means that I get to stream any games. But we are now going to go against Hasta la Vista. And that's going to be in 10 minutes. I'm not going to show you a replay, because that means in 5 minutes the room will be up. But I did see someone asking me how I feel about the whole Falling Swarm situation. I've had a very, very long monologue at the beginning of my stream on Thursday. So if you really want my opinion, and the game is not responding to my mouse clicks, that is not very helpful. If you really want my opinion on that, watch that monologue. Basically, it's like the first 25-ish minutes. But yeah, I fully understand Brian. I fully support him. There we go. The game is moving again. That is a good thing. But I hate that he's quit. I understand his reasoning. He is right on. He's right about what he says. Wargaming can be very frustrating, but the difference here is that he knew this beforehand, and he wanted to make a difference all the same. And I know that it can be very frustrating when it doesn't happen. At the same time, he has had a lot of influence on the competitive scene. The format that we have now is mainly thanks to his feedback, and I much prefer it to the format we had for Twister last year, because that was absolutely a disaster. At least for us streamers, it was horrible, and this works a lot better. And he's by far the best commentator we've ever had. And he's leaving behind a very big hole that I can't possibly fill. And yeah, I hate that he's quit. I understand his reasoning. Dealing with wargaming is frustrating. They do have a tendency to not listen, or barely listen, or not do anything with the feedback that you give. But one of the big issues here with the ATGMs, which was another reason that Brian decided not to make any content for wargaming anymore, is the fact that what we feel is not what wargaming sees. Like, I don't like the missiles because they can shoot you in places where you're perfectly hidden, perfectly angled, behind cover and everything, and they can shoot you for like 500 to 600 damage per shot while not even exposing themselves at all. So I'm really not a fan of that. And I feel that they need to be removed from the game as well. But Wargaming disagrees. They don't see it as broken. They basically, because missiles are fickle and most players can't effectively make those trick shots all the time, they feel that there is no problem. At the same time, these missile tanks are the most played tanks in the whole game at the moment, and that kind of goes to show it as well, because Wargaming sees no reason to remove something that is obviously very, very popular. And even the pro players and even myself that are against the missiles, I play the tanks too. I like the tanks, I hate the missiles. And that is basically the problem with it, because that is exactly what I mean with what we feel isn't what Wargaming sees, because the numbers say something entirely different. And after well over 4 years, I've been a CC since early 2016. I'm kind of used to Wargaming barely listening. And I feel that it's still my kind of duty to talk to them and try to make them see my/our sense. So that's kind of the thing that I'm struggling with now, because Brian is right, and it is very frustrating when the company you are trying to help build a better game for the community is not responsive to what you have to say. And I need to decide for myself whether or not I'm going to follow in his footsteps or not. But at the same time, I do still really love commentating on these tournaments, having a front row seat and just having fun with it. I still enjoy the game. So yeah, that is basically my thoughts on the whole rolling situation. And that being said, I love the names that are changing to the hashtags. I love the PFPs that are changed, the silent protests. I'm very much against the spam attack that happened. And the personal attacks aimed at certain people. That is something that I feel that is not okay. And here we go. There is a room. And I wonder, there was supposed to be a streamer following us Vista today, and I'm not sure if he's there, if he's gonna be there. And it's actually been weird because we have like the spreadsheet with all the links to the streams, and the guy didn't put a link in. So, but there's most of the YouTubers that are still left streaming after Brian left. Haven't put links in except for myself. And that means that I don't actually know whether or not they will actually be streaming or not. So, there's a guy that's supposed to be streaming. I have no idea what his channel is either, because I have no idea who he is. He has some very weird random letter combination nickname. Why, yeah. So, we will have to see how this will go. Ascent Vista slowly moving in. E7 is not there yet, but they have plenty of time. We still have just under 4 minutes left to go. And in the meantime, I'm going to take a cough drop. Basically, my throat tends to get really dry when I'm talking a lot, especially since my health is not too good. And that means that if I'm not basically constantly having a cough drop in my mouth, I end up having a coughing fit on stream. And especially with everything that is going on in the world, that is not really a good thing. So I try to avoid that, but it does mean that I will from time to time lisp a little because of the fact that I have a cough drop in my mouth. Nothing we can do about that. And in the meantime, I saw something weird. Oh, I think that's the problem. For some reason, my stream was playing in the background. I paused it, but it probably derps my internet a little bit. But here we go. E7 is coming in. HLV not completely there yet, but they will be there, I'm sure. So let's see, lots of chat going on. Like I said, there's a 5-minute delay on the stream, so basically commenting on what is said in the chat is not something that is very that is going to work very well. So let's see, just trying to See if any questions were there, but I don't really see any of them. Just over 2 minutes left. E7 is completely there, ready for another bout on Castilla, because why on earth would we recycle the maps? And we see that they are ready with a T62A, a T22 medium, 2 268s, 2 mice, and a Batchat. One of the reasons that I started to adore E7 was because they had a 7 Batchat tactic on Vineyards. And not only did they have a 7 Batchat tactic, it worked. And that's the thing, stuff like that can work. And it worked against a good clan, not just like a random clan, mind. And that just makes it a little more funny. But yeah. 1.5 minutes left before we go into the next matchup. And then we get to see what happens in this matchup. Because again, if E7 gets knocked out, so do I. But if E7 wins this, we are going through to the final stages, and that means that I will get to stream either the finals or the match for 3rd place. So I'm kind of hoping for that. Also, E7 really needs this if they want to continue on to the professionals. So they need to end as high as possible, and yeah, they really need to up their game and get it done. In the meantime, I'm looking quickly in Blitz Assistant to look at the chart for today and see where we are at and who is left. And that is something that I cannot show you on stream, unfortunately. But let's see. This is the first match for the night for HLV. But we have HLV left, E7, Nub, King, XR, EA, RN, and Com. So that actually means that... Wait, are there 2 groups? I can't imagine that. Or did Feast not... Where's Feast? Feast got knocked out. Okay. Of course, that can happen too, but I'm a little bit surprised. I was like, what? And it was King that knocked him out. But here we go, the second matchup that starts on Castilla. And we'll see what happens. Dun 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 dun. Nat in his E7, in his Batchat. And let's go up, up and away. And we see both teams pretty much splitting up. We have some people going to the middle. T22, 57 pixels, getting a bit of a push. Both 268 over there. Cloudburst taking a position. Not sure what it's going to do there. And Nat in the Batchat is pretty much safe there because there's no one there. But we have Hermes on the other side going up top. The Batchat is already there as well. And we have HLV pretty much making what looks like a immediate push. Phony not looking too good there when he already getting hit. And Boa Sorted pushing up and over is almost gone already. But base A is being kept, so they know that not all of E7 is here. And we have Cloudburst immediately responding, and basically the mice will need to hold. But with Iron Blitz Slave over there, they're gonna get hit from behind. And we have now the 268s are coming in, trying to get shots in. But the mice, they can't really pull back because then they go into the line of fire from the 268. Nat losing a little bit of HP there. Basically, this is already a giant fuckfest happening. Phony not looking too healthy. They're focusing on the 215B. And Phony is going to be gone very soon. But there are a lot of low HP targets on HLV's side as well. And there goes Solo, there goes Nat. And the mice are still alive. This is why you have mice on your team. And they want to take out Crossbone Vanguard. They do that, but they do show his bum as they do that. Hermes is gone. 57 pixels, not looking too healthy. 268 going in, taking out the Icefall. And we have... there we go, there goes 57 pixels. But it is now 5 versus 2. And even though there are some low HP targets, Cloudburst moving in there. And basically nuke magnets going into base C by the looks of it. The mice need to be a little bit careful here. Crossfired. Batchat going after. He's reloading his clip. And he's sadly being destroyed by Cloudburst before it's nuke magnet that takes him out there. And now we only have Iron Blitz Slave. This was very cheeky gameplay from HLV, but it has not worked out in his favor. Merida reloading. Nice ram there. And he does take out Phony, who survived for so long, even though he lost the most health the most quickly in the beginning. And E7 takes home the first match. Wow. That was a very quick game. Let's actually have a look if the game loads. There we go. Just under 3 minutes. It started like slowly build up and suddenly action all around. But it worked. Take care, Yoda. Hope you feel better soon, hun. So in a minute and a half we go to the second match of this matchup with E7 versus HLV. And I'm surprised at that last game. That was brutal. But I think it's actually the mice that won them the game in this case. And just over a minute left. Harry is not certain yet if he wants to play the IS-4 or he's still choosing loadout and equipment and all of that. But HLV is ready in a Leo, 2 mice. Let's see, because they're still changing. An IS-4, a Chieftain MK6, a 215B and a STB. STB is a lovely tank to have on this map. At the same time, it is not a brawler. And it will have to basically make itself work. E7 now ready with a grill, a sherry, a T628, 3 IS4s and a 268. So this is going to be very interesting to see, especially after what happened in the last game. And with HLV now taking 2 mice and the Chieftain has been changed for an E5. It will be fun to see what they do with that, because the mice, like you saw last game, they made all the difference. But in that case, they made the difference for E6. So let's see, countdown clock has started. We are now going into the game. Here we go, second match on Castilla. And I'm actually loading in time. That is also like, thank you, that is helpful. And here we go. Both teams seem to be heading a bit towards... No, HLV is all moving towards base A. And we see that 57 pixels is there as well. Now some of HLV is moving into the middle. 57 pixels not going for base A, but more going for the ramp. Hermie is doing the same thing. And this is kind of the thing. People have been talking about not using the... there you go. And he does shoot a missile, but it doesn't do anything. About not using the sherry for the tournament matches. But the thing is that you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage when you do that, because it is a very strong tank. Not like literal, but it has a lot of troll armor. Merida losing a little bit of HP there. And I think there was a blind shot because he wasn't spotted. But now they will know that there was someone there. At the same time, Merida will also know where he got hit from. And Nat now moving in. The STB and 57 pixels have been spotted. And we have the mice slowly moving in. The Leo has been spotted. Base B is being taken. Merida taking a big hit there. Harry is in position to do some decapping. But he will need to be careful because they're capping with 2 of them. And they need to shoot the other one. And they... Ooh, that not penning could be very costly here. And they have the base. That is very effective capping from HLV. And Harry needs to be careful not to overextend, but also because of the Leo there. Mouse losing a little bit of HP there. But with them having the base, they have an advantage. Base A can't be kept. Base C is kind of protected by the mice as well as the Leo at the back there, who is still looking at Merida. And the mice are steadily pushing in but being careful about it. They know that with Harry there, their movement is limited. Crossbone and Vanguard lost a bunch of HP there. But Noob Magnet has now been spotted and he is pulling back to save himself. Enjoy Solo. Stanley having his health eaten away. We have Merida now being focused and rammed and pretty much murdered, going into the path of the STB. And he kind of just needs to fall down, but he needs to be careful doing that because she can basically drain herself doing that. And he is out for the count at this stage, because he will need to move around and still see if he can survive. Nat is moving in. E7 is making a move because they are losing a lot of... basically, they're losing a lot of HP here. Base A now being kept. Nat is moving in together with Harry, projecting as well. But overall, E7 is very spread out. And that could work out very much against them, especially now 57 pixels is almost gone. Next reload, he's not going to be there anymore. Crossbone losing HP, Nat losing HP. It will be very interesting to see if they can survive. No, there goes Harry. And we see a missile going up and over. Crossbone is gone. The mouse wants to go after the Sherry. And even though he will get killed, E7 is not in an easy position here. There goes Enjoy Sola. Merida has almost been deleted. The mouse goes down to Nat. And they need to cap the bases. They also need to get the tanks out of the way. Because there are so many low HP targets here. There goes Noob Magnet. They are leaving the base as is to defend themselves. The Grill is not going to survive much longer. He is gone. So is Merida. It is 4 versus 3. They need to take these tanks out, and especially with projecting in a position like that, he is way out in the open. They've not taken the bases. HOV has a massive advantage. Now in guns definitely as well. And he needs to make this count, but he does not. Nat's not looking too healthy either. And if Pixels had been more careful with that shot, he needs to be careful. He is still spotted, but he needs to take out that IV. Also, that missing... Oof, they take each other out, but that only leaves Nat, and that means that this game is definitely going to be for HOV. And again, it's not very defensively played by E7, and that did not work out in their favor. Second games don't seem to be going all too well for E7. Wow. And here we go. So we get to go to a tiebreaker. I do love that because more tournament matches to stream. At the same time, there is the pressure because if E7 is... come on, ready up. There you go. The game is reacting so slow. This is not very... not very promising. But yeah. If E7 is knocked out at this stage, that means I'm knocked out as well. But if they go through to the next round, that means that we have a full stream of matches. Good night, Dwarf. It is very late for you there, so fully understand that you're going to bed now. All the way in New Zealand. Just over a minute left to go. And we are going to go to Middleburg. And we see E7 taking out the Spaghettis. And a lot of IS-4s at that. But we see a 1-2-1. Not the 1-2-1B, but a 1-2-1. A Sherry, 2 Spaghettis and 3 IS-4s. That is a very... That's going to be a fun lineup. Whereas we see a lineup that suggests HOV is going to focus on the town. With a Batchat, 2 mice, 2 IS-4s and 2 215Bs. So that's a pretty heavy lineup, and that can go very well because you can hold the town with that. At the same time, E7 has a lot more mobility. If they can hold the base close to the spawn, which is base B, if they can prevent that from being capped by HRV and dominate the hill by taking base C and going around, This could definitely be a very, very interesting game. And I'm looking forward to that. But only 20 seconds left before we go into this tiebreaker match to decide who's going through to the next round. Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Middelburg, not one of my most favorite maps, but it does lead to some interesting action. Go, princesses. And of course, Spaghetti is such a lovely tank. It is actually one of my favorite tanks around. And let's see what they're gonna do with this. And we have E7 going to the hills, and that might be a mistake. But we have 57 pixels going down in the Sherry. Whereas the 1-2-1 and the Spaghettis are going to go for base C. And the Sherry's there probably to get out, but he's now in a precarious position. We see first shots happening, but no damage being done yet. And we see immediately HOV now pushing towards base B, pushing through the town. And that's to be expected. Enjoy Solo losing HP as he crosses over, but he is moving into that base. And that will give him advantage. That will give HOV the point advantage. And 57 pixels has been spotted. He has to be careful here. He can't decap the base, even if he wants to. The 1-2-1 at the back. Basically, HOV, all they need to do now is hold. We have Harry. Here we go. Mouse on the other side, losing a little bit of HP. And this could be a good potential for a stalemate game. But they will need to make a push, because with two bases, HOV is getting a quick advantage here. Losing a tiny bit of health there. That is... I understand people do that to decap, but at the same time, it's not really the way to try and kill a mouse. We have the Spaghettis going in now. And they are careful. They need to take out that mouse. The mouse has support. But if they push through the middle, now Noob Magnet is going in. They are going to take out Enjoy Solo. He is the preferred target here. The Spaghettis at the back. They have to make sure to pen though. And not bounce a lot. Because they are taking a big risk here. There goes Enjoy Solo. Base B is being capped. 57 pixels still alive. Noob Magnet now in trouble. But I Am Blitz Slave has been pretty much left alone. So the Spaghettis and the Ice Force are moving in for him. The Batchet just drove against the building. There goes Cloudburst. There goes Noob Magnet. They need to play this very carefully. There goes I Am Blitz Slave. But now people are moving in. Now it's Harry that is called out in the open. With a fully loaded Batchet. Now shooting into him. Trying to take out Spaghetti instead. They need to make sure to shoot the same target. And they are not doing that. The focus fire is not there. The Spaghettis are moving away. We have 57 pixels moving in. Harry not looking too healthy. It is 840 points versus 805. But E7 has two bases now. If they can survive this, they're going after the Batchet. There goes Harry. Oh, Nat losing a ton of HP there. He just needs to survive. He needs to run away. But he's not able to. And now Merida in a tricky position. He does take him out. Base B is being stolen. Base A is being stolen as well. We are 930 points. If Merida dies, everything could go to hell, really. Merida is still alive, but it's not going to survive him all that much longer. There's bounces happening. There goes Merida. We are 970 points. If 57 pixels manages to just run away. And he does not. And it is HLV that takes it home. And oh my god. This was so close. But again. E7 splitting up. Not focus firing. HLV holding and focus firing more effectively. Very well played by HLV. But this means that I am knocked out. And that I won't be able to show you any more matches for the Asia server today. So that sucks. But very well played by HLV. And this is basically... E7 did this themselves. Again, they need to focus on shooting at the same target and playing more defensively, because that is where things are going wrong for them. But it would be very interesting to see what the cup stand's going to be after this. I'm not going to wait for that, because that means we have to wait 2 more rounds and then at least half an hour. But hopefully I will be able to do that next weekend, because that is the final Ascent tournaments then. And then we will know who is going to the professionals and everything. So yeah, that is a very anticlimactic ending. Well, no, actually it was an epic match. That was very much an epic match. But that is the end for my Asia stream for now. I will be back in about 6 hours to stream EU. And hopefully I will see you then. I will be following Veil tonight. And later on I will be following Pincer in the NA stream. But that's going to be in, oh my god, 13 hours. But for now, this is it. And yeah, Asia Stance is going to be very interesting with the way that it is now. Because let's see, HLV is third. So there, pretty much a few clans are safe. And they don't need to try hard this weekend. But the clans that are left now, RN, they're not in the top. No, actually they're on 2nd place. But we have XR that is not here yet. King is in 8th place. They have also been knocked out now. So not much change there. But let's see. Clam is not here at all now. So they're basically losing a lot of cups. But E7 and King are taking the same. So basically it looks like E7 is going to move to place 9 with this one. But it means that all the more pressure is on Thursday and next Saturday for them. Because they will have to do really good if they want to go into the top 8. So everything will be riding on that. So, like I said, that is it for me for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. And I will be back in 6 hours with the EU stream. Have a good day everyone, or a good night wherever you are. And I will see you then. Bye bye!